All right, this video actually has two parts to it. After my crash in Mexico, I obviously broke a bracket, so I replaced that bracket. And while I was replacing that bracket, I installed the Evotech GPS mount, specifically designed for the Triumph Tiger 900. So if you want to fast forward through the repair part of my video, fast forward 10 minutes and 13 seconds into this video, and that will put you at the Evotech install, or the beginning of it anyhow. It's not super detailed, but hopefully it'll help you out. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks again for subscribing. I appreciate all the support. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I'll get to them as quickly as I can. A lot going on lately, but I would love to respond to you. I'd love to get your input on this video. I don't hate adventure bikes. I enjoy adventure bikes, but there's a lot of things I don't like about them. But hey, we don't live in a perfect world, do we? So enjoy the video. Please feel free to comment. Keep the comments nice if you can. We don't need to be mean to each other. Enjoy the video.
So we're gonna start off by getting all these small items off of here. Just all the beauty stuff, you know, and get this broken windscreen, which I ate crap on, as you can see right there. So we're gonna get this all taken off, and then I'll get back to you and show you what we got going on. I want you to see that bracket for yourself. I didn't fall that hard, although mostly I fell on myself. So that is gonna be an interesting thing to see once we get it off. So we're gonna start tearing this all apart. All right, so you can see, got some of the front windscreen off, and it's pretty involved. This is the front of the bracket. I want you guys to see this, so you can see where that bracket goes. Kind of gives you an idea how that works there. So that's the front of the bracket, and it's supporting everything. So we got to pull the light off. We got to pull the TFT display off, and the beak. We got to get, there's quite a few things we got to get to that bracket. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we're slowly getting this thing broken down. But you can see I've got the TFT off, and you're starting to see this bracket appear before our eyes. Got to get to the light and everything, but first we got to get under this beak and get all this cross bracing out for the crash bars, which are super loose. You can see how loose those are. And that's all because of that stupid bracket. You can see the bracket moving because it's cracked. So, you know, I mean, I know I get saving weight, but there's a point where you save ounces, and then when you crash or do something dumb like I did, it ends up costing you a ton of money. So just be aware of that. If you guys are buying an adventure bike, some people think the best way to do it is go light, go with lighter bikes, and I agree, except when you start hitting tarmac, when you start hitting highway, then that's a whole other story. This thing's a Cadillac on the highway, and it's wonderful to ride. So there's a trade-off, and you have to consider that when you are purchasing an adventure bike or any kind of motorcycle for that matter. You have to really consider your options on that. So we'll keep going on this, and I'll show you what we got going on. Ooh, I have to say it's hot today. Now you can see the conglomeration of crap that's here with this beak off, and just the crazy nonsense that you gotta do just to get some crash bars on this thing. And again, like I said, this isn't a very smart setup. So, you know, the designers should know that you're going to be putting crash bars on a bike. And for that reason alone, I would think that it would be somewhat important to make a bike to where it can accept some decent sized crash bars to protect the tank and also the fans and everything. But you can see this, you know, you got this bracket. This is part of the bracket right here. And this is, you can see where it's broke. And it's holding all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Again, for that reason, I think that, you know, the designers could figure something out that's a little better. And that's what I hate about adventure bikes. And that's why I think, damn you for doing that to us. But anyhow, I got to get the bolts out of this. All this stuff's just hanging here. The crash bars are hanging. I can pull these fog lights down, and those will be hanging. And I got to get to these bolts here, then the light will be hanging. Then I can probably get to that bracket, and that's what we're gonna do now. All right, so here's another reason why these adventure bikes suck. This is part of the lower part of the bracket that broke. And these little pieces right here are off my $1,000 headlight assembly. You can see right there the joyous little part where it's broke, and it's broke up here on the top too. That was all from one little crash. It wasn't even really that big of a crash, but that was a drop in the dirt. So this is why, if you're gonna take one of these bikes off-road, be ready to pay the price, because you're either gonna get hurt or your wallet, your pocketbook's gonna get hurt. So this is what we're looking at right here. This piece broke, and I think the piece, there's a part of the bracket up top that cracked too. So we're gonna dig into this more, and I'll show you what else is going on the front of this bike. So instead of paying that hefty price tag, I'm definitely gonna work on maybe JB welding this. I know that's probably not gonna be the best thing, but it sure beats the heck out of a $1,000 price tag. So all the parts are here. I'm gonna clean this up, get this JB welded, and fingers crossed it'll fix it. We'll see. All right, while we got that JB weld drying, we have it sitting there. It looks like it's probably gonna work, I'm hoping. Anyhow, I don't know if you can see that. The lighting in here is really poor, but I'm hoping that's gonna work. If it does, then we're in business. If it doesn't, $1,000 light, I'm gonna have a rattly light, it looks like, because I ain't buying a $1,000 headlight for this thing. Anyhow, we're gonna get to working on this now. You can see where the back bracket broke. I'm gonna start unbolting this and see if we can get to the rest of this bracket. See how much more damage we did to it. All right, so this is fun. It's gonna be a giant pain in the rear end. Look at how bad the crack was. It's crazy. And like I said, it wasn't that hard of a crash. At least I didn't think it was. Maybe it was. This is the power port. And of course, everything's fished through this bracket, so I gotta unplug everything so I can make it work. So that's the next step, unplug everything. All right, just so you guys can see, this was a bit tricky getting this plug out. This plastic red tab pulls out, and then you push this black button right here down to get this off. Came off quite easily after that, but everything has to be unplugged because everything is routed through the center of this stupid bracket, which breaks like a potato chip. So we're gonna run all this wiring out of this bracket and put it into the new bracket. That's what we're gonna do next. What a mess. I hate adventure bikes. All right, now that we've got everything unplugged, you can see this just runs right through the center of it. I'm gonna take that out. And this will give you the view of the broken bracket. Major crash as far as the bracket's concerned. I gotta take this out, put this on the bracket, then all these little metal clips right here have to come off and go on the new bracket as well. So the $170 that I paid for the bracket didn't include these metal clips. Go figure. They really like their parts at Triumph. But anyhow, there's the bike, stripped down to nothing, ready to go for the next step. I hate adventure bikes. Now we've got everything installed on the new bracket. We're gonna go ahead and fish these wires through it and run it back up onto the bike. And then we're gonna get into installing the accessory package, which will add more weight to the bike and probably break the bracket even easier. But gotta have a GPS, right? So anyhow, now we're gonna get that on there. We'll install the GPS bracket. All right, it's day 2 of our bike repair, and I've got this lower assembly JB welded, and it seems pretty durable, pretty sturdy. I hope it holds. Now we're gonna go ahead and JB weld this top piece here, which is broken good. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it holds. That's going to be the next little dealio. So we're going to glue that. It's so blasted hot here in California that I'm taking my time putting this thing together. So I'll keep you posted. More to come. Now that we've got this all torn apart and I'm waiting on that to dry, I'm going to start installing the Evotech GPS mount for this. So this, from what I can understand, goes right in here. So we're going to eliminate these two clips. This is going to screw into here. So we'll see how that works. All right, now we're working on this Evotech mounting bracket. So the way the instructions say, it's this bracket, which is pretty stout and heavy duty. Unfortunately, it's bolting up to the very thing that is not that stout and heavy duty. This freaking bracket that is holding everything on the front of the bike, which is really kind of crazy. But anyhow, you take these front clips off. This goes on here like this, and then you obviously have the mounting point for your GPS. This is the TFT mounting bracket. We're going to go ahead and mount that right on the back side of this, like so. This just kind of pressure fits on this. There's rubber grommets that hold that in. Then there's screws that go here. We're going to go ahead and put those screws in, and then I'm going to get a little dielectric grease on those fittings, put the plug on, and then I'll show you how that mounts up. I got this loosely sitting on here. TFT's on the bracket. You can see the TFT sitting loosely in here. This bracket goes after the TFT's sitting there, and then you run the bolts through it right here, and you get these long bolts with it. And I put some blue Loctite or thread locker on there just because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, and it just makes me happy. So we're going to put that in, and then I'll show you what it looks like after that. All right, so this step is done in the process of installing this Evotech mounting bracket. It's pretty solid. I mean, this thing is solid, but again, why I hate adventure bikes, because this whole bracket right here is supporting everything, and it's made out of pot metal, basically aluminum. I mean, in their effort to make things light, this is what we get. Garbage. Look at that big crack. I mean, you can hear it. It's just garbage. So not real impressed with it. And like I said, what are they doing? Shaving a couple pounds off for the media? That's why I hate adventure bikes. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses. But yeah, so we've got this set up now. Pretty solid, pretty stout, except for when this breaks and you spend $170 to repair it. So whatever you do, if you got an adventure bike, don't fall down on it. And I mean just fall down, because you can break things. All right, while I'm sweating my brains out, we're gonna go ahead and put this beak back on, I think is what we're gonna do next. I believe that's what goes on next. I'm not sure. I do have to check and see. Might be the fog lights, but I'm gonna throw that beak on, see if we can get things moving forward. All right, now we've got the fog lights kind of loosely situated here. I've got them plugged in. I forgot what this plug goes to, but I know one's for the headlights. I'm not sure what the other one's for. Now we're going to start getting the brackets hooked up for the crash bars. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. I still got to try to get this beak situated on here. It's got to go over all this, which is kind of awkward and annoying at the same time. So I got to slide this up, and it's got to get in there somehow. And then I got to mess around with everything else. So it's not an easy task. All right, after a good hour of painstaking labor and sweating my butt off in here, I got this hooked up. You can see how flimsy these things are. I actually think that down by the motor, I've got a stripped out bolt, which it doesn't seem like it's ever gonna get tight, so I'm not gonna mess with it. This was the one that kind of dented my tank when I crashed in Mexico right there, as you can see. So I'm not having a whole lot of luck with this crash bar system or this flimsy thing that everything's bolted to. So do I think adventure bikes suck? Yeah, I kind of do, the way they're designed, but I kind of like them too, so it's a love-hate relationship. But anyhow, now I'm going to put the beak on finally, and we're still gluing the headlight. There's the GPS mount, the beginning of it, and I got this fancy bar that goes across here. We'll see how that looks. Evotech bar that goes across there. All right, we're getting real close now. Got the bracket on, and we got the beak is still loose. I had to put these crash bars on before I put the beak on, so it's gonna be a struggle getting these bolts in on the back side of the beak, but I'm gonna try. It'll probably be okay with 2 bolts, but I don't know. It's a real pain in the butt. These crash bars really suck. I don't recommend them just because of the way they mount to the engine and everything. It's just a really poor design. So before I put this broken piece on, I'm gonna take the existing pieces of my poor windscreen and clean this all up, and then we'll get that all squared away, and then that's gonna go on here next. And I got a new emblem and a slide piece for here because that broke too. So we're gonna get that done next. We'll get that all set up and we'll get that on, and we'll be close to being done with this thing. I'm cleaning this up now, and we're gonna get, I had to order a new emblem and parts for the front of this because, yeah, of course it broke, it's plastic, and they, you know, Triumph likes their parts. They're not cheap. So I ordered that with the new emblem and all that crap to put back on. So we're gonna get that back on now, and then we'll move to the next step. But it's getting close. Thank goodness, finally getting the bike back together. It's been so hot, it hasn't even been desirable to ride. So we'll see how it goes. Me and Donnie Boy will probably go for a ride, but until then, I just want to get it done and get it ready so I can ride it. So, all right, so I got this on. This has got the fancy Evotech grab rail or adjuster thing. It kind of eliminates this factory one. We'll see if it creates any weird wind noise or anything as opposed to this one. I did get a used windscreen, and unfortunately I polished it as best I could. I could have probably did a better job, but it was kind of beat. Had a lot more scratches on it that I would have liked to have seen for a used windscreen, but hey, it is what it is. I didn't want to spend $400 on a new windscreen, and I kind of like the factory one, so I went with that. All right, so the next step in the process, we got this little piece here, the Tiger thing. That's the lower half that for the adjustable windscreen. We got that all in place, cleaned this up a little bit, and now we're gonna go ahead and put this on. So that's gonna go right there, and that'll bolt on there, and then we'll get the windscreen up and going. So we're getting close. All right, now I got this back up. I haven't ran any wires yet for the GPS mount because I don't have a GPS, but I figured since the whole front end of the bike was apart, I might as well get it all set up for a GPS, and that way when I do buy one, I'll have a mounting bracket. And it's pretty solid. Like I said, considering the fact that it's mounted to that same flimsy piece of metal that they have up there, I don't know a really good solution though. You know, I've been talking smack and everything, but the reality of it is it's an adventure bike, and there's going to be some give and take there, you know. So I don't mean to drone on about it, but adventure bikes, there's compromises on everything. So again, big heavy bike that you're trying to compromise use on in the dirt and make it comfortable on the street for long you know, excursions. And like I said, this bike's been to Canada, Alaska, and Mexico, and it's been a great bike. I can't complain. So do I hate adventure bikes? No, I don't hate adventure bikes. I love scooters too. Scooters will get you everywhere, man. They're not great for the dirt, obviously, but man, I've had that scooter back there all the way to Chicago and back, all the way up the West Coast. And so, you know, it depends on what you want to ride and what you enjoy riding, and I enjoy riding all of them. So I'm not going to play favorites to one or the other, but the adventure bike right now fits my needs as far as where I'm going and what I want to do. I'm not a great off-road guy, but I will take some dirt trails. After Mexico, that sand thing, woo, scary stuff. But anyhow, I'm just inexperienced. So and it's expensive when you crash. So that's another thing that I really don't want to be doing a lot of, is crashing. You know, some people can afford to buy $1,000 headlights and, you know, $200 brackets that support everything, but time and money is a valuable commodity to me, so I don't want to have that issue. We're going to continue with this project. We're going to get that windscreen on, and I'll show you the finished product when it's done. All right, so we got that fully installed now. Obviously, this cross brace that Evotech designed is for clearance. You can see how that works there. It gives the backside of this clearance, but it looks like it's going to be a nice setup for the GPS. The GPS will probably sit right around there, and I'll show you a video when I get the GPS done, but it's pretty clean setup. There's not a lot of options out there, at least that I could find, that would work real well with the Tiger. But yeah, it's gonna work out good. I'm glad the bike's back together. I can start riding it again. And so I'm gonna get her cleaned up, and we'll be doing some more riding and some more videos. Thanks for watching ManCave Mayhem. Please, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Check us out at Instagram at ManCave_Mayhem. And just remember, folks, I'm just a man in a cave causing mayhem. Thanks again for watching.